What's happening, forum? So I did a poll on Twitter yesterday where here, actually, let me get this closer. I did a poll on Twitter yesterday asking if people wanted to see a 10 favorite records video from me. And to the 2 people who said records are not a personality, don't watch this video. Fuck you. Okay. So I've picked, you can't see it, but right behind my camera is the stack of, or the shelf of records I have. Maybe one day we'll get that room tour, everyone, alright? One day. I grabbed 10 records from there, and I have them right over here in this bin that's probably off camera. So I've actually ordered them from 10 to 1, so the order actually matters. So let's get started, because I don't want to be here all day. So first up is one that's probably you probably know if you've been watching the flea market pickups. It's the recent edition, Billy Idol's Cyberpunk. I listened to this album for the first time yesterday, and oh boy, it's like a 6. It's like a 6 out of 10. But so you may be wondering, like, well, Matt, if it's a 6 out of 10, why is it your 10th favorite record? Well, one, because it was a gift, and it's a gift that means a lot because I didn't have to ask for it, you know? It was just something that Brian, my friend, the guy who gifted this to me, Brian knew I wanted it. He knew I didn't have it, and he shelled out a decent amount of money for this thing. This is kind of a hard record to find. He had to, like, import it from Greece. So yeah, like, I just appreciated that, and I was so hyped on this album for a while, and to finally have it is really cool. But yeah, if I had to give it a rating, I'd give it a 6. There's actually some pretty good songs on here. I'm not gonna lie, and it does kind of put me in, like, the cyberpunk mood. So is Billy Idol a cyberpunk poser? I don't know. But it would have been cool to see him in Cyberpunk anyway. But I guess Keanu Reeves works too. Okay, so number 9 is Red Vox, Another Light. I actually have all of Red Vox's albums since their first album and their third album just got pressed to vinyl a few months ago. This is their second album, and I think it's most people's favorite. If you don't know Red Vox, they're Vine Sauce, Vinny from Vine Sauce's band, and I'll be honest, they're pretty good. I actually like them quite a bit. I think you hear that, like, because, you know, he's like a comedy streamer. He just streams games or whatever, so you hear that he has a band, and this is my first thought. I was like, he has a band, huh? Alright, let's hear this. And I listened to Another Light, and I was like, you know what? I'm impressed. It's actually really good. And I think I honestly still can't really pick a favorite out of the Red Vox, like, catalog. Because, I mean, this one feels like the most complete album, right? It's actually 2 LP. It's kind of a pain to get the records in and out, but I'll do it anyway. It's pressed. This one's got, like, this cool bluish. It looks blue to me right now in this light. I don't know how it does in Another Light, but yeah, it's got, like, this bluish tint to it, which is cool. I didn't bother showing the Cyberpunk vinyl because it's nothing really special. It's literally just the record. It is the black record, and no, like, inner sleeve or anything. See, this is gonna be me fucking with this for a bit. But yeah, like, I listened to this album and I was legitimately impressed, for one. And then I listened to their other stuff and also really liked it. So I'd consider myself a fan, and I think currently, like, I actually really like Kerosene, which is like their third, more like stripped back acoustic album. But I picked Another Light because this was the first one I got, and this one's kind of like a translucent brownish, which is cool. This is the first Redvox record I got, so I figured we give seniority to this one. Of course, they have to get this being so hard to put in because it's a gatefold. Knocks against it. But yeah, if you guys haven't listened to Redvox, or at least this album, you should. They got like a psych rock sound, but what I like is, another thing I like about Redvox is they kind of shake up their sound a bit, not too much. Like, if you like one of their albums, there's a chance that there would be some overlap with their other stuff, because like their first album is more like garage rocky, and it's a lot stronger in the first half than it is the second half, but I think it ends really strongly too, so I'd recommend that album. Another Light is more like psych rock, and Kerosene is like stripped back acoustic. It's the saddest one. And number 8 is another multi-LP set. This one's 3 LPs. Ooh, but it's not the most. We'll get to the biggest one later. But this is the 2017 20th anniversary reissue of OK Computer. This came out at a perfect time for me because at this time I was like super into Radiohead. I had just gotten into them and I loved OK Computer. And of course there are other stuff, but OK Computer was my favorite. Nowadays I'd say In Rainbows is my favorite, but OK Computer is still really good. And one thing I like about this box set is like the artwork. Just look at this stuff. It's really cool, and it really fits the atmosphere of the album so well. This is my favorite, actually, right here. This is so creepy. There are actually 2 versions of this, and you got these cool inner sleeves that are printed on, not just like regular paper. There are versions of this album that are printed on blue vinyl. Unfortunately, I don't have that one, but I don't really mind it that much. If there is like a color version available, I'll usually try and snatch that up, but having it on black vinyl doesn't really bother me that much. I know people are a real stickler for the sound sometimes, and I've honestly never really noticed like a dip in quality. My setup isn't like audiophile tier. I've got an LP 120 and just like some regular ass speakers that I've been meaning to upgrade for a while. So I can't really tell any audio differences, and the color vinyl just looks pretty. Sorry. Speaking of color vinyl, this is the Violent Femmes self-titled. This is one of my favorite albums I've ever listened to. It's kind of like OK Computer, where I listened to it at the perfect time. I think I don't know what this says about me, but I listened to this album at the perfect time too, and I think it still kind of sticks with me. But this is on it says it's on like a seafoam green, and yeah, I'd say it's seafoam green, but I don't know how it'll pick up on the camera. But this record is just really pretty looking. I got it at a Newberry Comics, and for about like $23 or something. And I know like Newberry Comics like kind of price gouges shit, but I was willing to pay it. for this, mostly because it's one of my favorite albums, and two, it was when I got this really early on when I was collecting records. I think this is like within the first 10 albums I owned. Was this Violent Femmes release? I've gotten to the point where I'm interested in maybe finding like the original pressing. I think that'd be cool, but I'm not really in a rush because I have this version. I think this version is also out of print. I'm not sure on that. Actually, no, it definitely is out of print. I don't know how much it goes for on Discogs or anything, but I think Newberry Comics exclusives can kind of get up there. So if you're interested in getting this version of the album, you might have to do some looking if you don't want to pay too much. There's quite a few of them out there. I think there's like over 2,000 of them pressed, so it's not like it's not like it's hard to find. You're just gonna get like people or assholes and price gouge. So what? That was 10, 9, 8, 7. We're on number 6. We're getting through this. Well, we're not getting through this quick, but getting through this quicker than I thought. We'll probably the further down the list will probably take longer. So number 6 is Built to Spill. There's Nothing Wrong with Love. Don't worry about that. Built to Spills, There's Nothing Wrong with Love. So this isn't like a special version of the album or anything. I think this is like a repress from 2014. I know there's one that's pressed on like a cream vinyl or something. So there's nothing special with this release. So why am I putting it on here? Well, the reason is because this is the first album I ever bought. This is the first one that kickstarted my collection. And I actually got it on a whim because I was buying a record for my friend Brian, who was collecting records at the time already. I saw that this was, I think, like $14 or something on Amazon. Back when I shopped for records on Amazon, very short-lived. But this was Built to Spill is one of my favorite bands, so I kind of just like impulse bought it I didn't even have a record player. I ended up buying a record player like a week after I got it. So I guess the reason this is one of my favorite records that I own is because, well, it's got this. It's the sentimental value of being the first record I ever got. And I also, as an extra in the I completely forgot I have 2 tickets in here. I saw. I have. When I go to concerts, I like to put the tickets. If I have like a vinyl of the band that I go see, I like to put them in the outer sleeve. So I have with me from October, it's actually scuffed out. It's from October 20 something, 2016. I saw Built to Spill at the Paradise Rock Club in Boston. And then April 20th, 2018, I saw them at the House of Blues with another band called the Afghan Wigs, which aren't great, but whatever. Built to Spill was actually a really good show that night, so I didn't really care. I actually saw them recently, like a week ago or so, but they're with another Built to Spill record I have. It was their Keep It Like a Secret anniversary tour, so I put it with the Keep It Like a Secret vinyl. Only makes sense, right? Okay. So this one's really cool. I think this is when we're starting to get into the cooler stuff. Not that the first 5 aren't cool, but We're in the big leagues now. The top 5. And number 5 is Semisonic, Feeling Strangely Fine. This is another favorite of mine. And it's the 20th anniversary edition. Kind of like the Keep It Like a Secret I was just talking about. And it just... The reason I put this on the list is because, well, until the 20th anniversary, this album had never been pressed to vinyl. And I guess, and for the 20th anniversary, they decided to do like a pledge music drive. Kind of like, I think it's like a Kickstarter for like bands. Or just like albums in particular. And as you can see, it's on like they call it gold, but this is definitely just yellow. Maybe it looks different on the camera, but trust me when I say that this is yellow. I still think it looks pretty good. I don't know if it really fits with like, when I think of the album, I don't really think of the color yellow, but yeah, I'm not really going to complain. I still think it looks pretty neat. And, yeah, so they did like a pledge thing where you pretty much just like, you paid money and eventually you got your record after they got like a funding goal. Here's the gatefold, by the way. I feel like I'm a first grade teacher showing everyone the picture book. And it's just the same for the second record. There's actually black versions of this album that I think you can just get in stores. But I think the gold one was exclusive to the pledge. Same with this, which is, it's just the gatefold of the album. It's just like a spare, really. But it's signed by the band. So that's pretty cool. Semisonic, this is one of my favorite albums. It made that big list I made a while ago. And they're just kind of an underrated band that I think should be appreciated more. And I think they're getting a little more of their due in recent years. I think they've kind of gotten back together. I don't know, but they do like some tours in like Minnesota or whatever, but I'd love to see them live. Unfortunately, I don't live in Minnesota, so unless they feel like moving out of there anytime soon, going to the East Coast, I might never see them. But whatever. Number 4. This one's just kind of funny, but it's also really cool, and it's Variety from I hope I'm getting this name right, Maria Takeuchi. And if you don't know who this is, you can probably, some of you people are probably like, oh shit, you have that? And to that I say, yes, I do have that. So if you're not aware, this is just on black vinyl, so. And this inner sleeve is such a pain in the ass to keep in, because it's just like a thin plastic. And it's actually rounded at the bottom. I don't know why. It just makes this a pain to take in and out. But enough fucking around. This is the Plastic Love Lady. You know, everyone knows Plastic Love by now. And that's how I got this album. I was listening to the song. I was like, this song's really good. And I was just on like impulse. Excuse me. Just on impulse, I checked Discogs to see if anyone was selling the album. Lo and behold, someone was. I think I paid about... it was some guy from Japan, so I had to pay like customs fees, import stuff. I want to say I paid like $40 or something. 40, maybe $50. But sounds good, and the rest of the album is actually pretty good. It said it was a 1984 pressing, but I'm really skeptical of that, because this thing is in like when I got this album, it was in like near mint condition. It was so it was in such a great condition. I just doubted that it oh, here's the gatefold, by the way. It's actually really cool looking. I just really doubt that this is not like a repress of some sort, but I didn't see any. It doesn't have any indication that it is a repress. I don't think. And it wasn't listed as a repress on Discogs, so as far as I'm aware, this is an original pressing. Not that that really matters too much to me. I just kind of wanted the album just to say I had it. And it's also a pretty good album. So if you've only listened to Plastic Love and you like it, you should listen to the full album because there's a lot of other great songs on there. I think Plastic Love might be the best song, but you know, still give it a shot. And speaking of imports, number 3, also hailing from Japan, is Happy Bivouac by the Pillows. I actually have not only Happy Bivouac, but also Please Mr. Lost Man, their 97 album, Runner's High, from 98. Oh, no, sorry. Please Mr. Lost Man's from 96, I think. And then Little Busters is from 97, Runner's High from 98, and this album, I believe, is from 1999. Well, this is actually from 2018 because these albums were never pressed to vinyl until last year. Last year for this album and Runner's High, and then Please Mr. Lost Man and Little Busters got pressed on vinyl in 2017. And this is just kind of like, when I got this was sort of like a dream come true. Because I'd been listening to the Pillows for years just from the internet. And to finally have like a physical version of their music, it was really great. It was really nice. And I actually got to see them live, like a once in a lifetime opportunity, because when the reason I found out about the Pillows was because of this anime called Fooly Cooly, because the Pillows did the entire soundtrack to the show. So I liked the show, and I listened to the music, and I loved the music. So like a year ago or so, 2 more seasons of Fooly Cooly get like released, and I actually haven't watched them because I've heard they're not that good, and to be honest, I don't care because thanks to Fooly Cooly season 2 and 3, Adult Swim foot the bill for a U.S. tour for the Pillows, and I think I've actually worn. You've seen the Pillows tour shirt a few times on flea market pickups, I think. So yeah, those shows could be those seasons could be dog shit. I don't care, because I saw the Pillows live, and it was incredible. They're so good live. It's crazy, and they're like in their 40s or 50s or so, and they still kick ass. It's so good. It was such a good time, and I wonder if I'll ever get to see them live again, because it seemed like the only reason they were able to get over here was because Adult Swim paid for a lot of the expenses and kind of set the whole thing up. So thanks, Adult Swim. I appreciate that. So number 2. Remember when I said that 3LP wasn't the biggest? That's because the Postal Service, Give Up, is the biggest. This is the 10th anniversary repress of the Postal Service's first and only album, Give Up. It's the side project for... Sorry, I'm reading through this and it's fucking me up. it's the side project for Death Cab for Cuties, Ben Gibbard. I feel bad because I always forget the other guy's name. It's he's from Dintel, which is like an electronic act, and I feel terrible. Jimmy Tamborello. I'm sorry if for some reason you're watching this, Jimmy. I'm sorry for blanking on your name. It's the side project of Ben Gibbard, Jimmy Tamborello of Dintel, and Jenny Lewis, who is was the girl from The Wizard, who got a music who like pivoted the music, and she's actually really good. I saw her live when she opened for Death Cab back in June, and she honestly had a lot of energy, and then she played a Postal Service song with Ben in the encore. So, like to see that. But yeah, this is just like when I found out about this version, I kind of like knew I had to get it because it's got such great art for one. It's 3 LPs, so it's got pretty much like every single Postal Service song, including like B-sides and stuff. And these are actually from the singles they produced. It's full artwork. I don't know if this full art has ever been seen before. I know it gets shrunk because it's, it was originally for a CD. But yeah, it's 3 LP. This is like one of my favorite records of all time. And I felt like I needed to get, something special for it, right? So what more special than the 10th anniversary 4 LP? This is 4 LPs, right? Oh, it's actually only 3. Uh-oh. Did I just do clickbait or something? Shit. Well, the reason I thought it was 4 was probably because there's 4 openings, but one of those openings is like a little book, and I'll just flip through it quickly because it's mostly just pictures of the band, and of course like lyric sheets and stuff. Pretty much everything you really expect from something like this. This is an old ass photo from Ben Gibbard. Well, actually, Ben just kind of looks pretty decent here. Just a little unkempt. This is actually this is probably from their tour. Actually, I wonder because Ben looks pretty young here. This might just be from a tour from way back when, because I know they reunited when the 10th anniversary happened and they went on tour and stuff. I didn't see them because I didn't know about them at the time. Who knows if they'll ever get back together. I'd love to see them live. And there's actually one more thing I want to show, and it's like a postcard set. This came with pre-orders for the album. If you pre-ordered the album on Sub Pop's website, who's the label that produced this album, and these are like pre-order bonus. This is like a pre-order bonus. So, in all honesty, I didn't expect when I bought this off Discogs. I think I paid like $80 for this, and for everything you get, I think that's a pretty fair price. At least years after it's been out of print. But the guy didn't even say that it came with these. I feel like this is something you would mention, because these are really cool. And I wonder if someone has ever actually used these. It is kind of like sad to imagine. So I just found out that my camera has a hard limit on recording for about 30 minutes before it's like, fuck this. So that's cool. I didn't say anything important or anything. Sorry, I needed to do the sync again. I was rudely interrupted in talking about the Postal Service. Basically, I got I'm all flustered now. I got it for a pretty good price with the postcards, which I didn't expect, which is a really cool surprise for me. And I felt it deserved to have like a really special version of it to be put in my collection, as opposed to just like any old pressing of it, because it's one of my favorite albums. And that was pretty much all I had to say about the Postal Service. Listen to them, they're good. So let's get to number one. So the number one record, it's not as flashy as the Postal Service one, but it means much more to me. This might feel a little, this might feel a little less ingenuous because this is the second time I'm doing this, but yeah. Much like number 10, which was a gift to me, this record was also a gift, and it's Jack's Mannequin, Everything in Transit. Everything in Transit is an album that means a lot to me, or this record in particular means a lot to me, because this is probably one of my favorite albums of all time. It might actually be my favorite. I'm kind of flip-floppy on that, but it's a contender for sure. And so when I'm just showing like a little insert. When I first started collecting records, I obviously wanted to get a lot of my favorite albums, like just because I like them a lot. And I went to go research Jack's Mannequin, Everything in Transit, and if you don't know this, Jack's Mannequin records are expensive as shit. This album only had 3 pressings, one from 2005, from 2010, which is this version, and then there's one from 2015, which is like a 10th anniversary edition. It's like a 2 LP set, which is cool, but this one just feels it means more to me because like I said, this was a gift, and I kind of resigned myself to honestly never, or not for a long time, getting Everything in Transit on vinyl, because this album was going for the 2015 version I think was going for like $200 on like Discogs, and like this one and the original pressing go for like 150. And at the time, it was not something I wanted to pay. And even now, I'd be hesitant, obviously. But one day, my sister, and if you're watching this, Megan, thank you so much. She visits me one day, and she just out of the blue just hands me this. And for a second, I was like, well, first of all, I was very happy, but I was also like, Megan, how much did you spend? And she tells me, she tells me that she got a good deal, and I hope she did. I really hope you didn't pay too much for this. Regardless, this is definitely like my favorite album in my collection, just mostly because of that. Because it has a lot of sentimental value. And can we just admire the cover art for a second? I don't know why, I just love this album art. It's really pretty. Yeah, I don't know. I could honestly talk about this album in detail for a while, a long time. but I'll just spare you and show you some other records that have somewhat to do with Jack's Mannequin, because I've sort of started a bit of a collection. Actually, before I do that, I'll be honest, it's really weird that those the Jack's Mannequin records are so expensive. Like a lot of Andrew McMahon in general, Andrew McMahon is the front man of Jack's Mannequin and Something Corporate, and he has his own solo act now. A lot of like merch and stuff is like pretty expensive for him, and I couldn't tell you exactly why, but me and my sister have a theory that it's because Andrew McMahon fans will follow him to the fucking ends of the earth. Partly because he's been around for so long, and I think also partly because he is a leukemia survivor, so there's a lot of, I feel like there's a bit of a fan like attachment to him in that kind of way. So the people who hold on, the people who get like merch like Jack's Mannequin, like records and stuff, they fucking hold on to it. So I have to imagine that's why it's so expensive. Just the fans are rabid enough to pay for it. I still need to get the Glass Passenger, which is also predictably expensive. I think it's around like $100 or something for a first pressing. There's a second pressing that was done in like Europe or something through Music on Vinyl, but there was like a weird it was kind of like an unofficial pressing. Like Andrew McMahon wasn't even like notified that it was happening, and I guess it's within the label's right to do that, but kind of shady, and I didn't really want to support that. So I'm kind of holding out for some sort of more official pressing. In the meantime, let's get to those extra records, like this Holiday from Real single picture disc. This jacket it's in has seen better days. You can just kind of slip through it. Apparently this is just something that happens to these things, which is a shame, but what can you do? The record itself is in good condition. Picture discs kind of get like a bad rap for almost primarily being display pieces, and I mean, let's be honest, they are. But I think you know, some picture discs, there's a time and a place for them, I'd say. I didn't even know this existed until like a few months ago, and I wanted to pick it up because, well, I mean, I was just admiring the cover art earlier, and this is the cover art of the album, so that's the main reason why I wanted to get it. It's, yeah, there's like a lot of people who will turn their nose up at picture discs, and to an extent, like, I get it. It's kind of like at what point are you getting into this hobby to like show off or whatever, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. Come to think of it. I don't know. I don't really know what to think about picture discs. I think I think, you know, they have their place. Just, you probably don't want to listen to them though, because they don't sound that great. Even the Holiday from Real single doesn't sound that great. And then I have this single from the Glass Passenger. It's the Resolution, and it has a side B of Annie Use Your Telescope, which is also on the Glass Passenger. And this is just your more standard single. It's even got the large hole in the middle, so you have to use your 45 adapter. The the story of how I got this is actually a little interesting. I got this from a fundraising drive that was auctioning off items for the Dear Jack Foundation, which, if you don't know, is a nonprofit organization that that focuses on young adult cancer, just like cancer relief, really. They just kind of try to make people who have... This is actually really hard to put in. I think I have to put it in this way. Yeah. Their like goal is to kind of like get people who have like young adults who have like cancer, just like I believe, just make their road to recovery as comfortable as possible. And it was founded by the nonprofit was founded by Andrew McMahon because, I mean, like I said earlier, he suffered from leukemia, and thankfully he's been in remission for a long time now. So yeah, that's how I managed to get that. It was being auctioned off, and I, to kind of go with the Holiday from Real Picture Disc, I figured I'd get the Jack's Mannequin Resolution single too. I think I just need the Glass Passenger and People and Things, and then I have every single Jack's Mannequin record. I don't know when that'll happen though. I think that'll be a while. I'm not very interested in their third album, and the third album, it's okay, but it's the first two I much prefer. I think that's all of it. That's every single... That's my 10 and change favorite albums in my collection. Thank you guys for meandering through this. This is probably a long ass video, and I hope you check out some of these artists that I showed off, because they all deserve a listen in one way or another. So, thank you. Goodbye.